Your mind is a master artist, but you have spent years painting nothing but monsters in the dark. You are not sick or broken, you are simply terrified of a masterpiece that you created entirely by yourself. The mind is a theater of shadows. We sit in the dark, projecting monsters onto the blank walls of tomorrow. We call this dark play anxiety. It is a strange, quiet tragedy. To be blessed with the gift of imagination, only to use it to draft the blueprints of our own ruin. We don't suffer because we lack strength. We suffer because we are artists of disaster. We paint the worst possible outcomes with agonizing detail, and then we force ourselves to live inside the painting. But what if the brush could be turned? What if this dark, heavy obsession with failure is just the raw material for something else entirely? Over 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Seneca looked at this exact human flaw and said something that cuts straight to the bone. He said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Let that sink in. You aren't suffering because your life is falling apart right now. You are suffering because your mind is forcing you to live the pain of tomorrow, today. And the cost of this habit is massive. Living in the what if drains the life out of you. First, it takes your sleep. Then, it takes your focus. It steals your presence from the people you love. And eventually, it takes your identity. You stop being a person who lives, and you become a person who merely waits for the crash. But you have to understand something crucial here. This isn't your fault. The modern world makes you feel like you're broken for worrying. But your biology was rigged from the start. Evolutionary psychology calls it the negativity bias. Your brain did not evolve to make you happy, it evolved to keep you alive. 10,000 years ago, the human who expected a predator in the bushes survived. The optimist got eaten. Your brain anticipates the worst because it thinks it's doing you a favor. It wants you prepared. Add to that, a modern world literally designed to hack this fear system. We live in an economy of panic. The news, the algorithms, the infinite scroll, they all feed on your biological mandate to look for threats. You aren't weak. You are fighting millions of years of evolution, armed only with a self-help quote you read on the internet. So, the question changes. The goal isn't, how do I stop overthinking? The real question is, how do I take this exact same mental energy, this obsessive, detailed focus, and use it to build my life instead of destroying it? Because right now, you are stuck in a cycle of falling. Think about why we hold on to anxiety. There's a dark, twisted comfort in expecting the worst. If you assume you will fail, if you assume you will be rejected or betrayed, then you can't be surprised. You can't be caught off guard. Anxiety feels like a shield. It feels like preparation. You play the disaster over and over in your head. The lost job, the failed relationship, the public humiliation. It's like picking at a scab, but that shield quickly becomes a prison cell. You get so good at preparing for the storm that you forget how to walk outside. We see this everywhere in our culture. It's that deep, exhausting burnout. You see it in shows like Black Mirror, where the future is always a trap. You see it in the tragic, self-sabotaging loops of BoJack Horseman. You try to change. You try to be optimistic. You force a smile. But the dark thoughts creep back in. You fail to stay positive. Then you blame yourself for being negative. And then you just give up. It's exhausting. It's a cycle of trying, failing, feeling guilty, and surrendering. But what if you stopped fighting it with brute force? The Stoic master Epictetus taught that it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them. Your mind is a neutral tool. It is a search engine. It goes exactly where you point it. The energy you spend staying awake until 4 a.m., meticulously planning how a conversation will go wrong, is the exact same creative energy required to visualize a breakthrough. The only difference is the prompt you give your brain. Right now, your prompt is, what if it all goes wrong? And your brain, being a good servant, gives you 1,000 terrifying answers. But what happens if you hijack the system? What happens if you aggressively force the prompt? What if it actually works out? To do this, you have to unmask the enemy. You have to separate your core identity from the anxiety. anxiety is not you. It is an alarm system. And right now, it's a faulty alarm system that goes off every time the wind blows. When you feel that dark dread creeping in, give it a shape. Personify it, it's just your frightened biological bodyguard trying to do its job. It's rooted in old wounds, a fear of abandonment, a fear of being seen as useless, a fear of being left alone. Acknowledge it, tell it, I see you, I know you're trying to protect me, but we are safe right now. We live in a culture of toxic positivity that tells us to just banish the bad thoughts, but you can't outrun your own shadow. Think of Carl Jung's concept of the shadow, the terrifying truth that the monsters you are running from are actually living inside you. You cannot outrun them. You have to turn around, look at the ugliest, darkest parts of your own mind, and stop running. Modern culture doesn't teach us how to bleed. It teaches us how to numb, but only the one willing to look at the blood can stitch the wound closed. And you don't have to do it alone. In fact, trying to be the lone wolf is the ultimate trap. We romanticize the solitary thinker, the isolated stoic fighting his demons in the dark. But that is a lie. Your mind is a dangerous neighborhood. You shouldn't walk there alone at night. Building a routine, anchoring yourself to physical habits like lifting weights, walking, creating art, and anchoring yourself to a community, to real human voices. That is how you break the echo chamber of rumination. Asking for help is not a surrender. It is a tactical retreat to gather reinforcements. Because the ultimate peace, the true philosophical resolution, is not an empty mind. You will never permanently silence the dark thoughts. You will never reach a magical state where fear doesn't exist. That is an illusion sold by gurus. True power is embracing the process. It's having the dark thought, feeling the pull of the abyss, and then consciously choosing to look the other way. It is a daily, sometimes hourly choice. It is the raw, gritty discipline of pointing your imagination toward the light, even when your biology is screaming at you to look at the dark. Look, I'm stepping out from behind the script for a second. I talk about philosophy and psychology because I need it just as much as you do. I know what it's like to be paralyzed by your own thoughts. I know what it's like to feel like your brain is a prison. And I know that sometimes a YouTube video, even one with cool quotes and dark music, isn't enough. If you are drowning in your own head, if the anxiety is taking your life from you, do not rely on the internet to fix you. Reach out, seek professional help, go to a therapist, go to a clinic. There is zero honor in suffering pointlessly. You have a brilliant, powerful mind. It's time to stop letting it tear you apart and start learning how to use it. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one.